Danny and Ioana. Okay.
Why, thank you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, these are up.
Hold on. Hello? Hello? Okay, I guess it only does from this one angle. Okay.
You forgot Peter.
I'm just opening up the questions right now. Well, hello. Thanks, everyone, again for coming. Great to see you all here. Beautiful Illinois. We'll just jump right into it. I guess we'll start with each of you. How long have you been at the company, and what is your role here?
Hi, I'm Ioana, for those of you who already know me, and for those of you who don't. I've been at Everflow for about 3 years now, and currently I am leading the marketplace team in Europe.
Hey guys, I'm Pete. I've been at Everflow for about 5.5 years, and I'm leading the marketplace team right now.
I'm Danny. I also work on the marketplace team, but in the US, and I work on publisher activation. And I've been here for about a year, or a little over a year.
Great to meet you all. Question, why are curated partnerships the better choice in the performance marketing space?
I could take this one. So for us, we heard a lot of feedback when we were first so we had originally released a very early V1 of our marketplace, which was basically just feeds, a way for our clients to get connected with really other clients that had traffic. But then as we started to compete more in the, marketplace market against some of the competitors in the US, what we realized is that people also wanted Everflow to have just a better marketplace in general. So instead of just guessing at what people wanted, we actually reached out to a lot of agencies, partners, brands, and actually talked to them about their experience on some of these other marketplaces. And what we found is that people didn't necessarily just want a huge, massive marketplace of thousands of partners. And they actually saw that as a disadvantage to some degree, because when we talked to them, they ended up working with the same 30, 40 trusted partners all the time. And some of those names were even the same. We just kept hearing over and over again. So we were questioning why some of these marketplaces even had thousands of partners when people really only worked with the same trusted partners over and over again. And those are the people they really wanted in the marketplace. And having less partners and more curated partners, ones that we knew and trusted and built relationships with, was a way for us to kind of allow people to kind of take this recruitment into their own hands. Because what we also found is there was this whole ecosystem that was now built on top of these marketplaces that only agencies could really navigate now. So the brands wanted to be able to do it themselves, but they couldn't even get started because they would just be inundated with like hundreds of applications from people they didn't necessarily want to work with. So instead of going that road where we were like, we're just going to add thousands of people, we decided to do curated partners and really make them people that we trusted, that we knew, that we work with from day to day. And that's kind of like our philosophy as well. And we're continuing to prune our marketplace, actually. So instead of continuing to add just more and more partners, if a partner's not a good fit for someone or they're not really working in the marketplace, we'll actually get rid of them. We'll remove them from the marketplace, which is also a bit different than how other marketplaces have worked in the past.
And what would be some of the partners in this curated marketplace that we're finding success with at Everflow?
So right now at Everflow, I would say, we have partners across all different types. So we have content, sub-affiliate networks. We have deals, loyalty, rewards. We're getting more into the influencer networks right now as well. So we have a lot of different types of partners. I would say vertically, we're very strong in like the finance, e-commerce space right now. And heavy into like kind of the direct response too. Like we're looking for brands that are good fits for the marketplace usually have pretty decent programs already, but they want to take it to the next level. People that are like kind of brand new, we're willing to take into the marketplace, and we kind of also help to coach them more on what their offer needs to be, like how to get it marketplace ready, basically. Like what payout is competitive, what landing page should you be using, really work on like the user flow too of some of these people that are newer to affiliate, because if we were to just dump them into the marketplace with what they think would be a good offer, usually it doesn't really work too well for them. So
Very nice, very nice. I've heard a lot of people out here talking about EF Match. Are you able to explain, I guess, what that is and how that works?
yeah, sure. So EF Match is something that originally we actually charged money for, where we would actually come in and do curated introductions to partners that we thought would be good matches for brands, and we actually charged money for this. But then over time, what we felt is this was kind of bringing in the wrong people into that program, because typically people that want to pay us money for introductions, there's a reason they want to pay us money for introductions. It's they don't have a very competitive offering to begin with. So we actually just stopped charging for it. And we kind of put the power back into our publishers' hands to pick and choose who they wanted to work with, instead of us continuing to push people to them that are paying us for it. So we just said no, like it's just going to be a free thing that we offer, and we're going to pick and choose what clients we want to bring into this program. And it kind of puts the control back into our hands and back into the pub's hands, which actually is working much better, because now instead of our publishers getting this continually inundated with offers that aren't necessarily great, they're now getting stuff that's much more relevant, they're much more engaged with us, and they're actually much more willing to test stuff that they would have never tested before. Because we've kind of built this trust with better programs that we're giving them in general. So it's actually working much better to make it free, surprisingly.
Always great to hear.
Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah.
Okay. So on to, I guess, more of the discussion type topics for this. These are obviously for all of you. Why do most platforms fail at facilitating strong partnerships? But I guess on a better note, why does Everflow do it well? How do they do it better?
So I can take this one. So one thing that we do different from most networks is that we're kind of doing like an invite-only type atmosphere. So we're working with partners that we've worked with in the past, so we trusted, we knew their quality, but then we're also going after the ones that you recommend and that you've worked with. So if you say they're a good match, then we're gonna bring them in and help them scale your business even further and just kind of nurture that relationship. A lot of networks take a different approach to where they bring on too many to where you're losing the relationship aspect, so you're losing the trust. If you work with a smaller amount, you can build that relationship up. You can stay on top of what they're currently trending in. Every quarter, they could be changing what type of offers they're going towards. So you need to make sure that you're checking in regularly, that you're saying hi to them, keeping that relationship going, and building upon of what they're expanding into next. And when you have thousands of affiliates, it's just not possible. So that's a different approach that we're really taking.
Very nice. Love to hear the greatness. What qualities should you look for when you're seeking out new partnerships?
So a lot of that can come into like, what kind of clients are we currently working with? What are they looking for? Do you know who your targeted demographic is? So if I know what you're targeting, I know who to connect with, because they may have a channel that you've never considered, but they might have the targeting that really fits for you. So that's something that we really pay attention to, is client feedback. What is going to make your business grow? And let's find the right partners that will help you do that.
And are there any channels that you find that like are a surprise, or clients are more surprised to hear that will work for them, that you find not a lot are using?
So content partners are always a really good one that we kind of put in front of our clients, because you can be put in front of a lot of your competitors a lot more quickly. So that's something that I think like should really look into more. Media buyers as well. So I'm a big fan of media buyers, and I love how they can get an offer live very quickly. That's something I always stand by, and they can scale your business rapidly based on your feedback.
And this is third-party media buyers, not within their company, correct?
It can be both.
Yeah. And I think that's really key to, one of the biggest goals of the marketplace too is to help brands get traction almost immediately when they start using Everflow. And so we're always looking for ways to get them started quickly, but also be giving them more longer developing contracts in like longer developing relationships too, because just starting off with like some of these like longer contracts with publishers in a longer negotiation process sometimes takes too long, and people are like sitting there and their account's not really doing much. So we're always trying to get them traffic like immediately, let them see the value that Everflow can provide, and then but be continually working on establishing these relationships with some of our bigger publishers and deeper pubs as well. So that's kind of like always been the strategy.
I think I would like to piggyback on what Danny was saying. I think it's very good to try to find partners that are in it for the long run with you, because not only will you get traffic at that point, but you will also probably get feedback. They will tell you what works, what doesn't. They already kind of know the landscape, and they know how you should structure your affiliate program to make it successful.
Very nice. With EF Match, how, I guess, does the team determine who would be a good fit for this curated marketplace that we have?
Oh, I could take this one. So we have a process for EF Match where we actually, let's say, do a mini audit of our advertisers' affiliate program, and we try to figure out where are they in their affiliate journey. Do they have an existing program? Do they have a landing page? Do they have a payout? Is the payout competitive? Which geos are they going after? Do they know their target audience, and so on? And after we figure out what those parameters are, then we go to partners and we try to figure out which are the right partners for them and who they should be connected to.
Got it, got it.
And you'd be surprised at how few people actually know the answers to all those questions. We got a lot of people that come in that are basically like, oh yeah, we think affiliate could be a great channel, and they could even really be pretty big companies, and they are just starting out on this like affiliate journey, as Joanna was saying. So a lot of that is us also turning into like consultants. And sometimes we don't have the partners to work at their current level, and like we're trying to push them to some degree more paid media as well, because it's like you can't just start out if you have zero marketing at all and you're like, I'm just going to do partnerships and I'm only going to pay on when someone generates me a sale. Like that is part of the marketing mix, but you need to be running other channels too. Like you have to have a paid media strategy. You have to, be doing other things. Otherwise, like just starting in partners, like it's going to be very hard to make that work, honestly.
So on the other side, for the, obviously the people that maybe aren't always a fit, what are some of the successes that have been seen in the Everflow marketplace with EF Match that you've seen that are successful? I think I said successful twice, but you get it.
Well, we have actually an apparel brand in Europe that was quite successful with us. They did have an existing influencer program, but they've never actually done affiliate in the traditional sense that we all understand affiliate, I guess, in this room. So they haven't worked with content websites, or they never really worked with media buyers. They came into Everflow. We kind of tried to structure a good offer for them, and they started running, and we're still seeing success to this day. They've been a client for, I think, over 3 years right now.
Very nice. Is there any other, I guess, successful, not necessarily, I guess, direct examples, but progress we've seen in the EF Match and kind of demos or any type of verticals we're seeing more success with?
Yeah, so there's definitely we've made a big force into the gold vertical, and that was a direct correspondence to a partner coming to us and telling us, this is what we want, can you go get these clients? So we did, and then not only did that expand our clients' book of business, but it opened up a complete vertical that we were really kind of untouched in. Mm-hmm. And that also opened up more partnership opportunities for those brands.
Nice, very good. So what type of communications are required to grow these partnerships and to grow this program for clients?
Everything. So every day I have multiple channels open. I talk to my partners on Skype, Telegram. We create Slack channels with full teams. We do email, phone calls, Zoom calls. There's literally any and every way that you want to talk to us, we are going to make it happen.
Danny will go to the publisher's
Yeah.
house and like hang out with
I'll invite you to happy hour in Austin, like whatever you want to do. So
Yeah.
anything and everything. If you tell me your preferred method of contacts, we will make it happen.
Yeah.
So besides being as accommodating that you would be, what should a business do on top of the work that EF Match is doing to communicate and make it work on their end?
So we can do direct introductions over email specifically. It's kind of our main method. And then we'll also get on a call with you just to make sure if you're missing any questions that you need to know for the partner, we can kind of chime in and be like, these are also things they can offer you. And also in return, we pay attention to your feedback as a client. So if we remember something you've brought up in the past, we will ask those questions as well, making sure you're covering all your grounds, and we'll stay on those first few calls to make sure the partnerships are moving forward, and we are also getting a good feel for who's the right match for you.
Yeah. And, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The key is also to kind of be engaged and keep your partners engaged as well. So you should have quite often communication with your partners. You should be responsive and also flexible. A lot of times partners like to communicate on instant messaging platforms like Skype or maybe Telegram, depending on your vertical. It's a good idea to think if you would like to transition to those instant messaging apps, just because it makes the communication way easier and it solves a lot of issues.
Yeah, you basically got to go and meet the pubs where they already are. Although I'm not the best at doing that, to be honest. I try to make them use email or Slack, but yeah, I do communicate on Skype and unfortunately Telegram with some of them as well. But it's definitely, to what they're saying, we put in a lot of effort in terms of the direct relationship building communication aspect of the marketplace. And I think that's because we're, doing these smaller curated partners, and it feels like we're able to get more traction and be more successful when we do that, instead of like this shotgun approach that a lot of these marketplaces take, and just letting people connect to partners that'll actually drive not the best results for them or just not work with them at all. So we hear a lot of people are discouraged by that when they come over to Everflow, coming from other platforms that have these marketplaces. So we're trying to make that much different in terms of how we're approaching it.
One thing to kind of point out too, though, is a lot of times you'll be in the marketplace. So if you're already in there and you connect to someone and they don't answer you, that's a good point to message us, because we have these relationships. We know where they're responding. Let us know if that is someone you are truly interested in connecting with, and we can reach out on their preferred method of contact and have them answer that connection.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So then once that client, that advertiser, that brand, they have the ability to meet with the publisher, they can get the communication going, what kind of incentives can they offer to, I guess, grow more with said partner, and even maybe get a dormant or non-answering partner to maybe answer and start working with them?
It's always a good idea if you have, for example, a seasonal promotion that you can do to try to re-engage partners that maybe were not responsive or are not active anymore. You can also always try to increase your payout. That might work. Sometimes partners want to know your performance metrics before they start actually running traffic. So that's some good information that you could provide up front if you already have that. I think those are my tips.
Yeah, and in the future versions of the marketplace, we're planning on making that information much more accessible to everyone that's in there, instead of us having to ask, hey, what's your EPCs, conversion rates, stuff like that, so we can relay it over to partners. That stuff's just going to be in the marketplace eventually, for people to be able to see that information and then make more decisions in real time about whether they want to work with this brand or not.
And sometimes it's also seasonality. So for example, if you're in solar, that has a certain seasonality. You're going to attract more people when it's kind of summer or spring. It's something good to keep in mind.
Okay. This last one is for all of you. What is the most interesting thing you've learned about partnerships by working in and with EF Match?
This is
I can
tough.
start. So with my partners, especially being in media buying, their verticals are always changing. They're always going after the next best thing. So just because an opportunity is not immediate at that moment, it doesn't mean that it's not going to be available in Q2 and Q3. So with them, we like to reach out and stay proactive and say, what are you working into next? What are you expanding in? And like, just because you may have talked to them in the past and it wasn't a fit, it doesn't mean that it's not relevant again.
I think one of the biggest things that I learned is that, you know, so much of what we do in the marketplace is allowing people to get connected on the marketplace, but actually so much happens outside of the marketplace, which, you know, it's all the relationship building between these brands and these partners. It's meeting them on Telegram instead of, you know, just connecting inside of the marketplace. So there's a lot of conversations happening outside of the marketplace that we're also trying to be a part of and trying to like facilitate and learn, which, you know, I assumed you just build a marketplace, people can connect there and then they work together, but it's obviously much more complex than that, and there's a lot more nuance than I originally thought.
It's kind of bending to the publisher's will for a little bit of like what they want to use the
Yeah,
most.
but also the brands too. I mean, like, you know, both parties have things that they want to get out of the relationship too. So it's important that you're cognizant of what both parties want as well. So it's not just the pubs just saying yes or no, right?
Yeah.
And we've even gone back and, you know, even just because a pub says no in, say, January doesn't mean they're going to say no in June. You know, especially if the program's changing and, you know, like they're saying with solar and the seasonality and, you know, at the end of the year, like during, you know, e-com season, right? There's a lot more things that we do from the marketplace level during those seasons to push those brands to our partners and let them know that, hey, you know, we have these people that are doing like Christmas gadgets and they're running a deal and all of this stuff. So we're working to kind of like automate some of that communication where we're actually like letting people know through the marketplace that, hey, you should work with this brand, especially at this time of the year when they have this kind of special going on. And we know the conversion rates will be better, you know, during Christmas time if you're selling like a gadget. Yeah.
So seasonality can tie a lot to being a better time to reach out to someone.
Yeah, of course. And we're trying to structure it in the marketplace where we're communicating this information to the right people at the right time in a more automated fashion. So we're having to do less like manual work there as well. So that's super important.
I'm gonna go a bit philosophical, I think. Yeah. My answer would be to maybe say yes more often and be more open. What I've seen a lot is sometimes you don't identify the opportunity right off the bat. And even though maybe some connection could seem like it's not the perfect fit, once you get the people into a Zoom call so they could have a conversation, they might identify certain points where they can connect and some type of partnership that they could form even though it wasn't the obvious choice in the beginning.
Very nice. So one a little free form for people that maybe aren't as familiar with all the different types of partnership models out there, AKA what they're paying to get this traffic. What are some of the different types of models you've seen that the partners in the marketplace are charging in order to get things running? And then from there, you know, what's it look like if they want to scale that like raise in price?
Yeah, I was actually, you know, I've been going further into influencers recently and trying to understand that business much more than I previously knew. And what I kind of found is there's a lot more things that you can do in that area, and there's a lot more that people do with like paying flat fees for content and then doing the paid media on top of it as well. Like, and there's a lot of stuff and nuance to that area that I think we're still trying to work on. And our goal there too isn't to necessarily work with individual influencers. We want to harness these influencer platforms and networks that, you know, have a lot of experience working with these people. And surprisingly, a lot of them are willing to work on a flat CPA too, which is super interesting to me as well, because typically you see influencers, at least in the past when we talked about it, it was always like flat fee, right? But I think influencers are starting to come around to working on a CPA as well. because they actually know if they work with the right brand, they can actually make more money than just getting paid $500 to post once, right? And they build this long-term relationship that just keeps making them more money over time too, as they produce more and more sales for these clients. So that's definitely an area that like I see a lot of growth too, and especially pretty much every e-commerce brand has an influencer strategy. So it's like super important for us to get that right too, from a marketplace standpoint.
Nice, nice. Well, those are all the questions I've been given to ask these lovely people. Does anyone else have any questions out there? A lot of big hitters up here.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everyone.